it's almost like the end of times in a sense sometimes, you know, like when you look at that.
Hey, we're not there yet. We still got plenty
I know,
of times,
but it's
know?
like some of these things were predicted, and like, and just seeing it, it's like, man, is that really what's going on right now? Like, are we really not taking care of our people? Like, I just like when I see that, it kind of infuriates me a little bit, you know? Welcome to 45 on the Hour podcast. I'm your host, Colt 45, and I'm here with the master of disaster.
The water master today.
The water master today. Bro, the fires are out of control right now. So instead of turning this into a normal podcast where we talk about like self-help and things like that, we wanted to talk more about what you could do to help, right? Because this whole thing with the fires is just, it's the biggest natural disaster ever in LA history. That's what they're saying, right?
Looks like
I mean, it's all over the internet. It's all over the news. It's a big thing right now. A lot of people are talking about it, and I mean, actually, everybody's talking about it.
A lot of homes destroyed.
Correct. Yeah, and we've been dealing
outages.
Right, and we're dealing with it firsthand. So, like, you know, obviously, first responders, fire department, police officers. Now there's churches getting involved, trying to do like home placement. My church, Freedom Church, is getting involved. I know for a fact we're in it because we do restoration services. So we're going to be rebuilding a lot of these homes. Mm-hmm. The homes, the devastation's crazy right now in Palisades. Like there's a picture that actually came out. I don't know if you could pull it up on the monitor, but it's crazy. Like it literally looks like every single street is gone. It looks like people are saying it was like World War II.
It looks like a bulldozer just went over that entire area, like just flattened everything.
Correct.
You know, kind of very reminiscent of just a war zone or something.
Right. You
know?
Yeah, and it does, and hopefully Ghost will be able to pull this up. The picture was taken from a drone, from what I believe. There's a couple other pictures too online where there was a picture of like someone that was in a plane and they were like flying, and then they did like a shot of like the aerial footage of like the fire as it was burning at night. Mm-hmm. You know, all these photos are so crazy impactful. Like on your emotions as a human being, you're just like, man, that just could you imagine? That's somebody's house. Like, what if that was your house?
We don't really think about fire that way, or at least I don't. But when you see it like in that mass devastation, like, oh man, we're not past this. A fire could take you out real quick.
Totally.
You know?
Right.
We live in such a way that like we live so close to each other, and it doesn't help that these winds are like a real crazy situation, right? So like the flames are spreading, ashes are going everywhere, like more fires created. Like we're lucky to be where we are right now. And yeah, it sucks that this is happening.
Yeah, and we're in Camarillo. Obviously, everyone knows that Camarillo, like this whole area is like super fire saturated. Like there's always fires here. Okay?
There was a fire here, a month ago, 2 months ago?
Exactly.
2 months ago, it was us.
I know. And that's why, like, even with like our franchise, like we're the fourth one in this area because there's just too much. There's just too much that happens.
There's a need for it.
There's just too much. There's just way too much. And there's just not enough hands, honestly. There's just not enough hands. Even with the manpower that we have, like we get oversaturated in our area, and we have to call reinforcements in from like different areas just to help us rebuild. And, you know, we do a lot of smoke cleaning, contents cleaning, fire damage removal, things like that, rebuild homes. But there's just so much work right now. And I don't even know what's going to happen after the fire. Like this is huge. Like they're calling in people from like different states right now.
I heard Javid was on the phone for like somebody in Nevada, and you know, you guys are doing it.
Exactly. Look at this one right here. So this photo right here, you can pull up that one. That one's pretty iconic right here. The one second down. Yeah, that one. That one's that's crazy. It's an article. What is it? If you scroll down a little bit, yeah. Just I don't even know what to say. I honestly have no idea. I've been dealing with this stuff since it all started. Like we got a call, and Service Master was basically telling us like prepare for the worst, you know, and like be ready, mm-hmm. you know. And so we're like, all right. So we have all hands on deck. We've also been doing like recovery aid too with the moving company. We've had guys on standby, guys helping out, going out, picking up people's stuff. You know, like most people don't want to take everything, but you know, they got to get out of their house like right away. They're just like, hey, you know, like just help me with my essentials. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So we're sending trucks out, going to help out. People just can't help themselves. Like usually seniors, stuff like that, are usually the ones that are like, hey, I could use a hand. My friend told me he could help me out, and we're more than happy to help them. So we're doing everything that we can. What I want to talk about, what you guys can do. Okay, there's a couple things that you can do. If you don't already know, you can link up with like a local church. Okay, my church in the Valley, they're doing like help for displaced families and things like that, and they're also doing support for families in need and whatnot. It's called Freedom Church. Okay, I'll tag it in this post after I'm done. Justice Coleman's the man. He's our pastor over there. He does so much to help people, and also, you can donate to places. There's a few places that you can actually donate to. The California Community Foundation. They do wildfire recovery fund support. Some of this is financial stuff. I know a lot of people want to do like physical stuff, but I'm going to get through some of that stuff first. The California Fire Foundation supports families of firefighters because firefighters are getting, the brunt of this, right? They're the ones sucking in all that air. They're the ones that are getting...
They're on the front lines.
They're on the front lines, yeah, just like we were, and they're the ones that, are taking the big brunt of it. So we got to support our firefighters. The LA Fire Department Foundation, that's another big one. The Pasadena Humane Society helps with pet evacuations in Los Angeles. I've been seeing a lot of pet stuff online. I don't know if you guys have been, but just over Instagram, Facebook, I've been seeing a lot of people posting their animals and whatnot. My dog Tootsie has been displaced, and like people are passing it around and everything like that. But yeah, animals are, super scared and they're displaced right now. So, I know there's a couple different sites too where people are trying to find like lost pets and stuff like that you can go to, like some Facebook forums. But the Pasadena Humane Society's pretty good with that stuff. Ventura County Community Foundation, it's the same thing. American Red Cross. I've been seeing a lot of shelters put up for the Red Cross. That's what they're starting down there in the Palisades. They're starting with camps and stuff like that. They bring in food, water, mental health services, and they help people that need to be evacuated immediately. We've linked up with them personally. And honestly, like they're just looking for more financial stuff. They're looking for donations and things like that. They do take volunteers from what I understand. And you can go to redcross.org, I think is the site. If I click on this, it'll come off. But they're able to, assist in helping people that are displaced and whatnot. When we had the Camarillo fires just like a few months ago, they were up like in our routes. So like as like the burn down areas are, like I don't know if some of you guys probably aren't experienced with, going to like an evacuation area or an area that's been, displaced. But when you go to an area like that, there's like Red Cross everywhere. There's tents. You'll see like signs. Usually you can't even get into these areas. The police block them off, so you can't even go in unless you serve a purpose, right? So because we're a service master, we'll get into the areas and, we have to wear our masks and our breathing filters and stuff like that because usually the air is the air quality is just, it's garbage. So you got to be careful getting in those areas. And plus it's dangerous. There's like fallen trees, there's debris, sometimes there's power lines that you don't even know if, it's like a war zone, after a fire. So understanding, where to go and what not to do is very important. So that's why we're trying to give you this information. The Center for Disaster Philanthropy, sorry, my pronunciation's not really good on that. They help recovery for families rebuilding their houses after the fires. The Direct Relief Society delivers medical aid to first responders battling fires. That's a pretty cool one. And then World Central Kitchen distributes food and water to first responders and residents. So those are like some of the top ones right now, guys. This is just firsthand of like what I found is like probably the better ones to donate to. If you're looking to do like physical help, right? And there's a lot of people that have been hitting me up. I probably had about maybe 10 or 15 requests of people saying, hey, I'm here to volunteer. You guys are awesome, okay? You guys, your minds are in the right place. If you want to help, the best way to help is to link up with someone that's highly active in helping, right? So like a church. You can link up with us. We're putting together basically like a notepad with like everybody's name on it that provides some sort of assistance. And you can call our office at 844-668-3223. That's 844-668-3223. And you're allowed to, you could talk to us and just tell us like, hey, this is what I need. You know, I'm looking for a horse trailer or whatnot. That's actually a really big demand right now is like trailers and things like that to help people with displaced animals, or they got to get their animals out and whatnot. That's kind of always been a really high demand. Our company's actually been looking to purchase trailers to have on our property just for situations like this, because we do have trucks. So we have 2 dualies that we could pull them with and whatnot. But if you have a trailer that could hold horses or animals or whatnot, please let us know. We're always looking for people that, you know, can help assist with that as well, and providing those trailers, you know, obviously let us borrow or whatnot, or, you know, and help out these people and their families and their pets. So, yeah, so those are some of the bigger things.
Right on.
This fire is, they're saying, the biggest in LA County or LA's history. Like, it's literally like, I think there's like zero containment. I want to pull up the fire map. That was the next thing I was going to go over.
Some of them are, you know, the Malibu fire, the Palisades fire, I believe, is 0. And then a few of the other ones have been contained.
Correct. Yeah, there's multiple fires right now. There's the Palisades fire, the Eaton fire, Hurst fire, Lydia fire, and then the Sunset fire. So right now, the Palisades fire is 0% contained. Okay, it's burned, what, 18,000 acres? It says 17,234. I just wanted to know if that was accurate from this morning. The Eaton fire is 0% contained. That's burned over 10,000 acres. The Hurst fire's burned almost 700 acres. That's 10% contained. The Lydia fire's been 40% contained. That's burned almost 400 acres. The Sunset fire has burned 43 acres, and that's 0% contained. So, I mean, literally, Hollywood's burning down right now. Like, literally. Like, I think there was someone that posted, like, a sign
I saw it.
that shows the Hollywood sign.
The Runyon Canyon area is going up.
I'm just out of breath, man, just thinking about this. It's just crazy.
That one's been contained.
Has
Runyon
it?
Canyon? Yeah. So.
Okay. So, yeah, guys, what you can do. Let's get back to that. If you guys have, like, a local church that's in the area, or, like, all these churches are kind of, like, talking to each other, okay? That's, like, the best way. And you don't necessarily have to be, like, a religious person to donate or to help. But it definitely does help in spirit. Our church is doing something tonight. They're doing and hosting something tonight. I wrote it on my phone, but my phone's actually being used. But actually, they're doing like some sort of like like I think like a relief thing tonight at like 7:00. So that's kind of cool. But all these churches are actually linking up, and they're actually saying, you know, like, hey, you know, like whatever you need, and they're donating, helping each other.
In a weird way, man. Like, there's gonna be a lot of displaced people,
right?
Not because they did anything wrong. You know, where are they going to go? Who's going to take care of them? Who's going to help them get back on their feet?
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's probably going to be a lot of people who need a place to stay. You know, crazy.
You know what I want to talk about also is like, I know that Joe Rogan I saw a post where Joe Rogan had like basically
talked about this before, right?
We talked about this, and there was a guy on there that was a fireman, and he was talking about with the right wind speed, with the right direction, LA is going to be burnt all the way to the beach. It's going to burn everything. And what's crazy is it was almost like it was like predicted. Like, do you have that video where Joe Rogan talks about it? Yeah, it's right there.
I talked to a fireman once. He goes, dude, one day, he goes, it's just going to be the right wind, and fire's going to start in the right place, and it's going to burn through L.A. all the way to the ocean, and there's not a thing we can do about it. I go, really? He goes, yeah, we just get lucky. He goes, we get lucky with the wind. He goes, but if the wind hits the wrong way, it's just going to burn straight through L.A., and there's not going to be a thing we can do about it. Because these fires are so big, dude. When they're talking about like thousands of acres that are burning simultaneously with like 40-mile-an-hour winds. And the wind's just blowing embers through the air, and those embers are landing on roofs, and those houses are going up, and they're landing on bushes, and those bushes are going up, and everything's dry. And once it happens in a way where it's so spread out that there's nothing they can do. There's nothing they can do.
You just have to evacuate, right?
Nothing they can do. They just got to get out of there.
Jesus.
Here we go. Just crazy.
That's crazy. That's what Joe Rogan said, man. And he, he said that like, what was it, January? No, that's today. Oh, that was July 19, 2024. Yeah, July 19, 2024. That's when he said it. But yeah, and a lot of it's just the brush. A lot of the brush is just not cleaned up. I know for a fact, like, we haven't touched, a lot of it, from what I understand. I mean, I've talked to a couple of my friends that are firemen, and they're like, yeah, they don't maintain it, call it budget cuts, the wrong leadership. I don't know, whatever. But
yeah, there's a lot about that. Like, okay, real quick, like, what is the mayor's responsibility? She wasn't even around.
Isn't she on vacation right now?
She just got back.
Okay, so yeah, I don't even understand like how that even works. Like, how are you in charge and you're on vacation? I don't get it.
Hey, the
but we won't talk about that.
The fire hydrants are apparently empty.
Right.
That's a weird one too.
Yeah, and then what's this thing with like? From what I heard that State Farm canceled 72,000 policies just before. Is that even accurate? Is that an accurate statement?
I didn't know that, but I saw a little clip of somebody saying like, and they took away my insurance. So,
right,
knows, man. This is Hawaii also went through a similar thing recently.
I'm Googling this right now.
Lahaina burned down.
Yeah, I don't know if that's actually like factual or something, but I don't know. Yeah, it's saying right here, largest going to announce in March 2024 it would discontinue coverage. So that's what they announced. I already know that like financially, like California is very difficult to financially insure
Deal with
houses, so residential homes. Even for my home, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can concur with this, it is crazy hard to get an insurance policy. Like, it was difficult for me. It took me like a while to get an insurance policy for my house. And like most homeowners are afraid to file a claim right now. Like even when we go out, they're like, oh, how much is it? I don't want to go, if it's under my deductible, I'd rather pay cash, or, just to put it on a credit card or whatever. Yeah, just to not report it.
Yeah.
Right, because they're afraid they're going to lose their homeowners because it's the law. You got to have, homeowners insurance as part of the policy, So a lot of people are scared right now. And, I just want to let you guys know that like everything always works itself out. Okay. This is where the self-help comes in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everything always works itself out, right? Everything that I've ever been through, anything that I've ever experienced, the worst of the worst, it always works itself out. It always, eventually, people get relieved of their duties, leaderships change. I think just people in general just feel that, like, Americans come together. Like, they help each other,
It's around that time where you got to start coming together.
Correct. And I think that no matter what we do right now, guys, we just got to stay together, okay? We just got to stick together as people, right? And we got to help each other in any way that we can, whether that be your neighbor, whether that be just a buddy of yours, like ask people how they're doing right now, right? Especially if they're in the LA area, just ask them like, hey, how you doing? Do you need anything? Like, just check in on people. Like, just people appreciate that, And I think that's one of the bigger things that you could do to help somebody if you really want to help, right? And if you're just, on your own program and, you're completely aware of what's going on right now, then I guess that's just you. But I think everyone needs to put out the best amount of energy that they got right now and help everybody get through this stuff. Because if it's not California, it's Texas. If it's not Texas, it's North Carolina. There's always a natural disaster somewhere. Someone's always in need. And the biggest thing that we can do as human beings is just be there for each other, right? Just remember, guys, how you do one thing is how you do everything. If you're always out there, being and doing the right thing, it's going to come back to you. And I wanted to talk about businesses right now, okay? There's a lot of businesses right now that have the power to assist, okay? And a lot of them are just staying quiet. And I think that's complete bullshit. If you're in a community and your community is supporting you, I think that it is your obligation as a business to dedicate something to your community. I think it is. I think it is your obligation as a business to dedicate some sort of time, some sort of energy, something like, hey, we're willing to do this.
You want to contribute. You want to,
something.
We are a community.
Yeah, like even like Airbnb, they're a national brand, and they offered like people of displaced homes. I don't know if you guys saw that. It is your duty as a business, if you are a business and have a community base around you that you've developed, it is your obligation and your duty to help in some way. Whether you provide something for free, something at a discount, like even just talking about it, like something. You need to do something. Okay, everyone needs to.
Right
it is your job to lead.
Colt,
okay?
Right now, what would you say? Like these people that just lost their homes, are they like displaced? Are they like, what is the right word to call them?
Wait, what was that again? Say that question.
People that just lost their homes. Like, what would you say? Because like these are the people we're helping. Like what are
so in the insurance world? From what I do, we call them a lossy. Okay, you're a lossy. right? That's what they call them. In the humane world, we just call them displaced victims.
Okay.
I mean, they're a victim of an episode that happened that they have no control over it. Right. Like that's truly what a victim is. Like when you have nothing, you have no control over something,
Right.
So these fires, no one, I mean, they had said things about it, that it was going to be a big fire. Like there's these winds coming in. And honestly, this came from like, I feel like it just came from nowhere. Like we hear about fires and we're like, okay, yeah, it's going to burn down, some forest, maybe a couple houses here and there, which is still a problem. But we never thought it was going to be this big. We never thought the destruction was going to be thousands of structures. It's over 1,000 structures now. And it's just going to keep growing, unfortunately, because things are still uncontained. Like there's still wind today. There's still wind probably tomorrow, I think. I think it goes till Saturday, doesn't it? Yeah, so what does that say? What does that say? Like
You can't predict nature.
You can't predict nature. And so what does that really mean? Does that mean that it's going to keep burning? I mean, more than likely, yes, it's going to keep burning. And I just pray for all the firemen, the first responders right now. I pray for all the families that are displaced, I think in essence, the best thing that we could do is just put out the energy in the right way, put out good energy. Make sure that people understand that we're there for them. Make sure that the energy is positive towards those people that were displaced. Do whatever you can to help somebody out, even a friend. Like if you have power on, post a post on your Instagram or your Facebook or your Twitter, whatever you have, and just say, hey, I'm offering a free room to my family and friends. Like most people don't know that you're willing to help, right? And I know a lot of people right now are getting evacuated, and they may or may not have their home burnt or whatever, or suffer smoke damage, but they don't know where to go, and they may not have money to go anywhere because right now, like
it's going to be rough to talk to anybody for insurance to get any money. Like who knows if you're lucky enough to get your wallet, your cash.
Good luck with that. Yeah. Like the insurance companies right now are even prepping us as like restoration companies. They're like, okay, yeah, we're going to pay you, at the end of the week. Like usually we have to wait. Like some of you guys are familiar with how insurance companies paid, and some of you aren't. But insurance companies, they take forever. 60, 90, 120 days. They pay you when they feel like it. And that's just kind of how it works, and that's just the system, and that's fine. But when you have to, accommodate, 30 structures every other week, like that's so much work for most restoration companies, unless they're of huge scales. But even then, there's only so many of those. So there's only so much everybody can do, right, to try to help people put their lives back together. Mm-hmm. And even us as a restoration company, there's rebuilds, right, where the devastation's like, we consider them large losses, where the home's been completely leveled. There's a ton of those right now, right? And then there's houses that have been partially burned, right, which there's a ton of. And then there's also people that have had smoke damage, right? And so we do that too. We clean the smoke out of a house and make the house smell better and get that odor and all that contamination out of there. And we have to remove contents and all these other things. And then of that, there's so many of those. There's so much work right now and so much fixing that needs to be done. And it's not even done yet. So people are going to be waiting a while. People are going to be displaced for a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's all going to work out. It's all going to work out. It's all going to be fine. Everything's going to work itself out. It always does. But the biggest and best thing that you can do is just make sure that you stay in touch, find a local church, find people that are doing something about it, and then link up with them. You can link up with us. You can call our office, let us know, hey, I'm willing to help, provide my services. Just saying it means something. Like even if you're willing to do it and you don't know how you're going to do it, you're like, hey, I'm here to help. Just let me know. That energy in itself gives everybody the next energy level bar to go, do more. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
It becomes infectious.
Correct. Like, it does.
It's time to be like a good leader and help each other right now.
Right. What do you think people can do right now, just in this moment? Like besides like linking up, because obviously like people are in displacement right now. But what else can they do? Do you know anything else they can do? Because I honestly think like I've exhausted most of the stuff.
Man,
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, it just now you have to start thinking about like what's the next steps, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. So then like start to maybe get those donations ready. Because people are going to need a lot of stuff. If you just had your whole house burned down, like you're wearing the clothes on your back and that's it. You know, like they're going to need stuff real quick, I imagine, right? I haven't had much time to think about it, but.
That's a good idea. I didn't even think about that. Well, I know that like some of the churches are providing like those efforts where they're saying like, hey, we have, we're going to have clothes and some shoes and stuff like that. People are bringing in donations and food donations, and they're putting up cots and stuff like that for people. But I think maybe like posting stuff like, hey, I got clothes at my house if you need something, because sometimes people just leave really quick. I know for a fact, like with moving, when we move people need time to pack. They need this, but when you're being evacuated, you get a cell phone text, right? Most of you guys gotten the cell phone text and it says like, hey, get out now. It's like, hey, leave now.
If you didn't have like a bug out bag or something easily within arm's reach or in your car, you're good. And a lot of people lost their vehicles too.
Yeah, and preventative measures too. That was something else I was going to go over. If you're not sure if you're going to get hit or not, even like for us, like we're in Camarillo, we're in a fire-prone area. A lot of us are just sitting here, just like waiting, and like don't do that. Like create like a little bag. Like at least a few days worth of clothes, some extra shoes, some boots. Make sure you put water in your car. It's like just some snacks, some granola bars, things like that. Prepare for, evacuation, put some blankets in your car and stuff like that, just in case. I know a lot of us, have families and stuff like that, but some of us don't. But at least you can manage to just get out and then, find a place to stay or get a hotel or something like that, or just get out of town, and then have just a little bug out bag for yourself. But definitely be prepared. I think everyone in Southern California, just in general, from like Orange County up right now, all the way to the east of the Inland Empire, all the way west of, Ventura, should be prepared right now for, possible catastrophe. Yeah. These are big times right now. But the only way that we get through it is together, guys. So I don't want to touch too much more on that. I think we got a lot of that out. I think that these fires will most likely, hopefully, be contained in just a few days, maybe.
Hopefully, it rains at some point. I don't know.
That's what I'm hoping.
And then
that's what I'm hoping is that it'll rain. I'm just hoping that there'll be like some sort of like big amount of rain and it just slows down the fire and it just dies out. The rain doesn't necessarily just kill the fire. Sometimes when it's just raging that much, it just minimizes it. But it allows the fire department to control it. I was talking to my buddy that's a fireman the other day, and a lot of people think that, like, why doesn't the fire department just put out the fire? It's like they can't. It's too much. They have to contain the fire. So what a lot of these firemen do, and how they're constructed is, from my understanding, is they build perimeters, and then they dig trenches and things like that, and then they basically make it to where the fire will burn up to a certain point, and then it'll die off. Mm-hmm. That's their goal. And then they hopefully do it before it gets to the houses. But you can't stop these things. When they've started, you just can't. And it's just one of those things that we just got to get through day by day, so we got to stay here. We got to be positive because we all get through it together, and eventually this too shall pass.
Yeah. Thank you, Colt, for delivering your service master by ATD.
No,
because you're going to be working.
Yeah.
You're going to be out there. I'm probably not going to see you for a minute.
Yeah. We're going to be crazy.
The phones before you got here, before the podcast, the phones are going crazy. Like it's all hands on deck right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And just so you guys know, like our moving company is providing free moving services for people that are, need to be evacuated. They're in an evacuation area, need to be emergency displaced. So all you got to do is just give us a call. No questions asked. We'll put you on our schedule. We'll come pick up your stuff, and get you out of your house as soon as possible. So don't feel like you're trapped and you don't know what to do, or you can't get a U-Haul or something like that. We'll come pick you up for free. And we also provide storage. So, if you're someone that, is being displaced and you have the means of carrying all your stuff, you can always bring your stuff here. We'll put your stuff in a vault, provide you storage for free, until your home gets opened back up or you get it back or whatnot. So we're providing all those services at zero cost, to you. That's just our way of helping. So, yeah,
we'll put some links and some phone numbers at the end of this episode, and then hopefully this gets out tonight. Fingers crossed, and like boom, start sharing it and get everybody involved and let them know what you're doing for the community.
Yeah, Yeah, I think that if anyone else wants to help, hit us up after this podcast. If you've gotten it today, because you're live, or if you're going to get it on Monday or whatnot, and let us know. We'll add you to our list of people that are willing to help. Like I said, right now, horse trailers are a big thing. A lot of people are looking for horse trailers for large animals. And, just donations just to help people get into places and get homes. These are hard times just in the economy. I know people are just struggling right now. A lot of people are struggling financially.
This is
so being that, we all got to come together. We got to help each other out. This is what we got to do, okay? Because we ain't going to get through this together, okay?
Or by ourselves.
Or by ourselves.
We're not going to get through this by ourselves.
Yeah, we're not going to get through this by ourselves. We're only going to get this through this together. And that's the only way that we're going to see through this. Sorry, guys. My mind is all over the place.
No,
After seeing those photos, like I don't know. It just took something out of me. It's just like, it's almost like the end of times in a sense sometimes, when you look at that.
Hey, we're not there yet. We still got plenty
I know,
of
but
times,
it's like some of these things were predicted, and and just seeing it, it's like, man, is that really what's going on right now? Like, are we really not taking care of our people? Like, I just like when I see that, it kind of infuriates me a little bit, It just makes me a little upset. It's like our leadership just completely let us down, And I don't understand why. I don't understand why. Like, why it would ever come to this, Like, why we don't have measures in place? Like, why are we not maintaining our stuff? Like, what is
Look at how much it's going to cost now.
It infuriates me. It makes my mind it brings out that anger, Like how could you do this to us, And I think that's just kind of like, that's where my mind's a little sidetracked right now. A little sidetracked, just thinking about like, I just want to just grab these leaders and just be like, you're stupid, Like, how could you do this to people? And that just infuriates me tremendously. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, yeah,
it's all good. All right.
Yeah, sorry, having a moment there.
Hey,
having a moment there. Can't think clearly, man. It's infuriating to see all this shit go down like this. Anyways, guys, I don't want to let my anger get the best of me, right? The only way to get back at anger is just to provide action, right? Provide good action and really help out where it needs helping. And this is what needs to happen right now. So, you good?
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's take some action after this.
Sweet. Let's do it. All right, guys. Until next time, get up, get after it, and get some.